Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Anywhere Uni live podcast. As usual, if you are with us live, you can ask your questions in the little box as you follow. So please feel free whenever you want to ask your questions. I will take the questions throughout the conversation. And if I haven't, we will make sure to answer all the questions by the end of the podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, on Spotify, or on Deezer, please subscribe, and that way we have a new episode every week with admission representative, undergraduate program directors, and students from top universities all around the world, and every week a new episode, so feel free to follow. So tonight I'm delighted to welcome a university we haven't had on the podcast yet, and I'm delighted to welcome Boris, undergraduate program director at Dauphine London. Hi Boris, how are you doing?
Hello, Alban. I'm doing very well, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm very happy to have you. I think, as a I'm French myself, so the Université Dauphine, University of Dauphine, is very well known, very established institution in France, and it's very exciting to see that undergraduate offer in London that has been around for a while. But I must say, I haven't visited the campus yet, and I haven't had a proper conversation with someone from your London campus yet. So I think it's about time, and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to talk to you tonight and to talk to you specifically about Dauphine London. So just so you know, you're always welcome to come and visit us.
Yeah, I will next time.
You're more than welcome every time. I'm glad to talk about Dauphine.
Next time I'm in London, I will definitely come around. So if you could just take a minute before we start, so our listeners know where you are speaking from. So what do you do at Dauphine London?
So I'm undergraduate programs director at Dauphine London since 2023. I'm also academic lead for social science and law academic area. So I'm a law lecturer. So I teach my Dauphine London students law from year one to year three, to the last year of their bachelor. I also teach law the master's level at Université Paris Dauphine on our main campus in Paris. So I am able to compare and I'm able to combine the best of both worlds, as we say it, French academic excellence and unique British approach.
Oh, that's nice. It's a nice role because you have the vision, and at the same time you are with the students in class as well, and that gives you a great perspective. So could you just for our audience, maybe some of our listeners don't know Dauphine if they're yet. So as a university originally in France, what is Dauphine known for?
That's an incredible question to start with. So Dauphine was founded in 1968, and it was a very innovative project back in the days because that was one of the first research universities which were founded in France. What does it mean? It means that that type of universities were focused not only on delivering high quality teaching and preparing the students for their future career in whatever area, but also those universities were focusing on a high level research, on implementing research in their teaching techniques. And that's, in my opinion, what makes the thing so unique and so outstanding in its way since the time it was created. So Dauphine was a pioneering institution in the research field in the areas like economics, finance, quantitative disciplines applicable to finance and economics, management, social science, and law. So that is what was a milestones and the core programs at Dauphine initially, and that is what Dauphine as an institution is still very known for. But in the meantime, what is even more interesting than that back in 2010 there was a decision proposed by Dauphine that it would be great if one of the most prestigious Paris-based schools would be able to get together in order to conduct even higher level of the research and in order to guarantee academic excellence in terms of teaching for the students. And that's how back in 2010, PSL University was created. PSL, which stands for Paris Sciences et Lettres. And that's why these days, since 2010, the full name of the university would be Université Paris Dauphine-PSL. And PSL consists of 11 different universities where we are proud to share PSL with those famous schools like École Normale Supérieure, École des Mines, and many others. So and I would say that it comes as a logical continuation of the Dauphine project as a research-based institution which implements high-level research into daily teaching activities. So that is exactly what PSL is about, because PSL as an institution is based on the principle that each school would mainly cover few core academic areas, few main academic areas to be delivered on the teaching level and to be researched on a research and doctorate level. So Dauphine, within the PSL, Dauphine would stand for economics, management, marketing, finance, quantitative disciplines applicable to finance and economics. So that is more or less our area where we feel the most comfortable and the most renowned. But at the same time, when we're talking about, for example, École Normale Supérieure, of course, we're talking about hardcore scientific stuff and engineering modules and things like that. And in the meantime, PSL since 2010 became even more famous among French institutions, French universities, but globally as well. So these days, PSL is 24th university globally. So according to QS ranking, we're 24th in the world. So we're competing with those famous universities like Princeton, Columbia, Oxford, Cambridge, and that is, that feels nice that we French public universities are able to enter that top tier league of British and English universities.
Exactly. That was very, very, because I think that has been a problem in France to have these grandes écoles separated from main universities. And in terms of international rankings, that was a bit of a disadvantage for France. And it's good to see that PSL, through combining all these schools that have different programs of top quality, are able to at least we have a few institutions in the top 100. So that's great. That was a great move.
Well, I can't agree more. Well, it went even further than that, because actually, according to different rankings, PSL was ranked as the first French university for a number of years and the first young university, because once again, that is a university which was founded only in 2010, so only 15 years ago. So, and I guess that actually it's a very good example of how far we can go and how much we can achieve if we combine our efforts towards the same goal and towards the same idea in higher education and research, to make sure that the students get exposed to the cutting edge research which we are conducting as researchers, as professors, just within our schools. And I think that it's something extraordinary for the students and for us as well, that we can share what we're working on with the students on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, that's great, very interesting. I didn't realize Dauphine was that young, because it's so well established. And so even more recently, but it's been more than 10 years, as we were discussing just before starting the podcast. So where is that idea coming from of having a satellite, I guess, campus of Dauphine in London? And so when did that happen, and what was the project about?
Dauphine was very famous as an institution in Paris and in France since it was founded in 1968. And at some point, there was a discussion going on for quite some time, saying that, it works really well. We're really good at what we're doing, especially in those core academic areas involving decision-making science, management, marketing, finance, economics. Why wouldn't we have a look at an international perspective of things, trying to make Dauphine a little bit more international, trying to get rid of the fact that we're purely French institution. So maybe we can use our French excellence approach to go somewhere abroad and to teach the same curriculum, to teach French students maybe who are based abroad, and that was the first beginnings of to the discussion about launching a campus in London. And it was London, of course, was a pretty much obvious place for Dauphine to start with, because you have a very big French community based in London. But in the meantime, you're so close from mainland France, you're just across the channel. But the higher education system, the academia in this country, in the United Kingdom, is so different. The UK higher education approach has been famous and renowned for its excellence for so many centuries. And at some point, there was that idea which struck the mind of the president back in the days and of the members of the Dauphine board of directors, saying, "Why wouldn't we combine the best of both worlds? We can offer French excellence, French academic excellence, and high level of education. But what if we go even further than that? And we will not just copy paste it from one country to another country, which would seem as as the easiest option to do, but we would just try to combine it with that unique cross-cultural British approach towards education, and maybe we will be able to construct something in between, something which will be a mixture of the best of both worlds." And that's how this idea actually appeared. And we welcomed our first cohort of Dauphine London students in September 2014. So there were not too many of them, but it was still quite exciting because, it felt like some kind of a startup atmosphere when you gather all the professionals who are good in what they're doing, but it goes way beyond that. You understand that you also gather those academics who are passionate about being the part of it, being a part of this exciting project, which would be creating something new and something which has not existed before in our mind. So that's how we launched our campus in London in 2014, and it's been 11 years since then, and we multiplied by 10 the number of students. So we started in September 2014 when we had only one group of 30 students, 30-ish students, and today we have around 300 students. And I guess it makes me feel very proud that I'm the part of this institution as well, that you can see the tremendous growth and success and those changes happening every year. And I think that Dauphine as an institution has few other foreign campuses. We have a campus in Tunis, which is quite big. We have double degree programs with Madrid, with Frankfurt. We have a campus in Doha, in Qatar, but London campus is considered to be the most international at the moment because of the variety of nationalities of the students who come to teach to study here, variety of the lecturers who join us to share their academic experience, but also because of the approach. Because in the end of the day, we're a French university and just a campus located in London, and that's how we are seen quite often by our colleagues from other universities, by our peers. But in the meantime, we try to make sure that the students get the best of the country where they study, the best of the UK higher education standards, and that they really face very enriching and enlightening experience, combining both advantages of French and UK academic systems. And so far, it's been really great.
Very exciting to see about 300 students now. And so, what do you offer? Only one program? So it would be like economics and management, a Bachelor of economics and management. Is that the only undergraduate program at that campus?
That is correct. At the moment, we offer one undergraduate program, which is Bachelor's in economics and management. At the same time, what is interesting, it is just our English interpretation of the phrase licence sciences des organisations. So that's how we call it at Dauphine in Paris. But, in the UK, we don't really say organizational science. That's why we decided to interpret it in a little bit narrower way. That is the only bachelor program which we're offering at the moment. At the same time, we're working hard in order to launch a double bachelor's degree in artificial intelligence and management. So this project will be launched either in September 2026 or in September 2027, because we're in the middle of drafting all the necessary documents, finalizing the programs, making sure that we can guarantee the same academic excellence as at Dauphine in Paris, which is our first range priority. And so ideally, maybe in 1 or 2 years' time, we will have two main bachelor's degrees on our London campus, but we have few more exciting projects. As of September this year, September 2025, we welcomed a group of master students in applied economics and finance. So those students joined us for 1 semester only, because they have another semester which will be spent on Paris campus, another semester which will be spent in Germany, and the last semester to be spent at University of Bologna. So it's a very international European degree in applied economics and finance.
At the end of the bachelor degree, students get a licence. Is it still a French licence that they get, fully accredited by France, or is it something that's also accredited in the UK? Like, how does it work in terms of the diploma they get at the end of the bachelor?
In the end of their third year, all the students will get French diploma. So we don't have our own degree awarding power. So we do not issue any, we do not award any UK university's diploma. So the only diploma which the students will be getting will be a diploma from Université Paris Dauphine-PSL. Although on the diploma it will be marked that the students spent their bachelor on London campus, and they had all the classes in English and so on and so on. Yeah, but it will be French diploma.
So it's 100% of the classes are in English. So you have some students that don't even speak French in the cohort.
Yeah, that was actually one of the main objectives for us since 2014. We did not want just to be a foreign campus of a French university with 100% French students. We were fine with that in the beginning, but at the same time, we knew that we could do better, and we could create really something international, completely international. So this year, as of September 2025, we have 34 different nationalities on our London campus, which sounds really exciting. Around 55-60% of our students are French. Most of them would come from mainland France, but the rest, 40-45%, would be fully international. So they may be French who come from abroad, those French students who got educated at LFE, Lycée Français à l'étranger, or some students who have no connection to France at all. So we have more and more students every year who do not speak any French at all. And well, that is fine, because atmosphere on campus is fully international. So everyone speaks English. All the classes are 100% in English, which I think makes us more international and more welcoming for those students who would really enjoy getting their bachelor's degree from French university, from very prestigious Parisian university, but at the same time who are not able, or who would not be willing studying in French language for 3 years.
All right. And so, London is a very large city. So where is the campus located, and what kind of vibe? Is it like a specific building? Do students have access to more than just the Dauphine campus? How does it? What's kind of the experience like for students in London?
So our London campus is located in Islington, in central London. So it's located next to Angel Tube Station. Really 2-minute walk from Angel Tube Station, or 15-minute walk from King's Cross, St Pancras. from that international railway station where Eurostar.
It's very easy.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like, I just got back from Paris this afternoon, a few hours ago. So it's really, I can confirm it's really 15-minute walk from St. Pancras. So we're very lucky to be located in this beautiful part of central London, which looks very, very British, very English. So it's really beautiful experience. We have our the whole building just for us, just for our students. We are actually, as we're growing quite fast and we would like to welcome more and more students on our campus, we are currently working on renting another building next to the one we occupy at the moment. So the campus will ideally be growing as of summer 2026. The campus is quite small, so we are able to accommodate all 300 students, all of those 40 lecturers who come to teach our students, but at the same time, that is a maximum of our capacity at the moment. So at this time, we are a very much boutique campus, very family-sized campus, when everyone knows one another, when everyone, when I'm talking about academic team and all the professors, when all of them know their students by name, which I think is a wonderful experience for the students. But in the meantime, we understand that some of the students would enjoy something big, would enjoy feeling the part of a bigger school, not only a part of a 350, including staff members community. So we have for a few years now, we have a very unique partnership with University College London, UCL, which is top 9 university in the world. So you see PSL is 24, top 24th. UCL is top 9, so just tiny little better, a little bit better. And we have that unique partnership which allows our students to follow their foreign language classes at UCL, taught by UCL professors with other UCL students. So all of our students go to campuses of UCL to follow those foreign language classes on a weekly basis. And thanks to that unique partnership, they also have access to all UCL facilities. So they can use UCL libraries, UCL football club, UCL sports sections, UCL clubs and societies. So they have access to
Oh,
all the
nice.
facilities. Yeah, they have access to all the facilities as if they were full-time UCL students. And you see, I keep repeating this phrase, the best of both worlds, because that's more or less,
That's what it is.
yeah, no, because that's pretty much the motto of Dauphine London. And so we want to make sure that the students could really benefit from both, benefit from that community-sized, family-sized environment on our own campus of Dauphine in London, but at the same time that they can get a feel of belonging to something very big, to something big as UCL, 25,000 students, maybe even more these days, and 100% British institution, so the students can feel what it is, what it means to be the student at a London-based university, London-based British university with an incredible history and long-lasting story. So I think that's a nice way for the students as well, either they're French or international, to experience both sides and to see which side they prefer for their future masters, maybe for their future doctorates as well.
Yeah, it's very very exciting to have that partnership and to be able to get basically a top French university, top degree from French university within that very neat setting where you have a classroom where teachers and professors know their students, which is something quite rare at the undergraduate level. So I would say it kind of ticks a lot of boxes. That's very exciting. I can understand that I'm not sure the English word, the engouement, like
Yeah,
the interest, is only increasing year after year. And so two questions, a bit more technical, and then we'll have to talk about the program exactly as well, and then we'll dive into admission, because there's always lots of questions. That's usually when the chat starts to get alive. in terms of housing and in terms of tuition fees, because it's always a question when families look at the UK these days since Brexit. It's tuition fees, British tuition fees for international tuition fees for non-British students are quite expensive. The cost of living in London is also quite high. So what can families expect when they consider Dauphine London?
So let's start maybe with tuition fees. So tuition fees for this academic year are at £10,450 per academic year.
Yeah, so much basically non-British students paying British fees, basically, much cheaper than international fees anywhere.
Yeah, we've been comparing actually not a long time ago. We've been comparing our tuition fees to tuition fees at other London-based institutions, which would propose more or less the same level of the program in economics or economics and management. And for international students, it would start from 25,000-30,000
Yeah.
per year, and no, it's really inaccessible. So if we believe in the values of higher education, I personally don't believe that we shall just create those artificial limits for the students, just saying that undergraduate's degree shall cost you around £100,000. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me if we really share the same values, when it comes to higher education. So yeah, our tuition fees have been the same for quite a few years, 10,450. When it comes to housing, that's exactly one of the areas which is always quite hard in London, because we don't have our proper residence, because we are quite new as a campus, but also we did not have too many students till the last few years. So what we are looking at the option of renting a part of all the bigger students' residences to offer some places for our students, but that is just a project which we are working on right now. But in the meantime, we were supporting all the students in order to help them to find the accommodation in London. We have lots of guides which would explain to the students what is the best course of action for their particular situation, for their budget, for the area where they would like to live. So despite the fact that we have nothing to offer on our end, that we don't have our own Dauphine London students' residence, we still offer lots of support in terms of resources, in terms of data, in terms of the list of residences, which we know well, because our former students live there, or our current students live there, and they enjoy it. So that's pretty much how we try to navigate this situation. And I'm always saying that despite the fact that London is extremely expensive as a city, the city is 7 or 8 times bigger than Paris. So the number of options which could be offered to the prospective students is much higher as well. So if students would like to find an accommodation which is quite accessible and affordable for them, it could start from 700, 800 per month. Pounds. I'm talking in pounds, of course, 700, 800 pounds per month. And I do not really think that we have the upper cap in terms of accommodation costs in London, that it could go as high as it gets.
Very clear. Okay, so one final question that's kind of very important before we dive into the admission, because we mentioned the title of the program, economics and management. What can students expect in this program? Is it kind of a rigid, structured program for 3 years? Do they have a bit of flexibility on specific majors, maybe as they move on towards the years? How many hours of classes a week? What kind of subjects? So students maybe in the younger years, in grade 10, 11, and even our grade 12s, they still have time to apply. What's the academic offering in this specific bachelor?
So despite the fact that the program is called Bachelors in Economics and Management, it's a very interdisciplinary and career-focused program. So this 3-year interdisciplinary program is based on few main pillars, on few main values, which would be high-level proficiency for the students, the fact that the program is tailored to prepare the students for their future career in many areas, which I'm going to address in a moment. This program is also based on personalized guidance, which the students will be receiving from the tutors and from the support and students' life teams throughout all the years. So the main idea of this program, and that is why I was saying earlier that Bachelor's in Economics and Management may not be the right name for the program itself, because back in the days when this program was drafted for Paris campus, there were lots of discussions. Shall we focus on some particular areas like only economics or only management, and the rest shall not be covered at all, or shall we try to combine things in a different way? And we just realized that nowadays in our globalized world, it can be seen as such a disadvantage if the students are very well prepared and very good in economics and management, but they have no idea how it works in marketing or how to deal with strategic planning, or they have no understanding about law or how legal systems operate or regulations operate. So we realized that for their future career development, for their professional growth, they need to be able to understand those, key elements in all of those disciplines which are related to business activity. So that is actually what this program is about. It's about preparing, it's like an eye-opening program in order to let you understand how business operates, how international business and national business operate. That is the main idea. And that's why, despite we have lots of modules and lots of classes in economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and so on, and in management, of course, the students will cover many other academic areas as well. They will have quite a lot of different courses in quantitative disciplines, different types of mathematics, statistics, computer science, coding as well, quite a few modules in social science and political science, in order just, to be able to navigate around this turbulent world these days, to understand how to not to get overwhelmed with everything we see on the news every day. Of course, foreign language. So they have their academic English on London campus, because some of them are not English native speakers, and we want them to be good in academic English. So it's not just a daily level of foreign language they need, but also foreign languages, as I discussed earlier, taught by UCL professors at UCL. So in the end of the year 3, the students will be fluent at least in 3 languages. So in their mother tongue, whether it's French or any other mother tongue, English, because it's a language of instructions, and another foreign language which they choose at UCL. And UCL offered them a choice of around 10 foreign languages. So, Chinese, Portuguese, Arabic, Japanese, and those languages which are quite unique for those who come from western part of the world. And I do believe that that's really exciting. And of course, the most important part, because I'm a law lecturer, is law modules, which we cover on campus. And, we teach not something theoretical, but contract law, company law, business law, just so the students who will be dealing with business activities or in different areas will have a very basic understanding how legal rules operate and which legal rules shall apply to business activity. So those are the main academic areas which the students will be covering during the 3-year degree. In the meantime, what is really interesting, take into account that we are awarding diploma from Paris campus of Dauphine. The students are following exactly the same curriculum as their peers on Paris campus. So if you compare program structure of LSO, Licence Sciences des Organisations, and Bachelor's in Economics and Management, that is 97% the same program, with the same number of hours, with the same modules distribution around 3 years, to make sure that the students are that well prepared as their Paris campus peers.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important for employers to know that the level is the same, and it's not a sub campus that with a less value, it's the same. Yeah.
But in the meantime, well, of course, we are not copying absolutely everything which our colleagues are teaching on Paris campus. For example, if we're talking about, once again, if we're talking about law, of course, we are not teaching French law, but maybe comparative law or international business law. So it's a little bit more adjusted to the fact that we are located in the United Kingdom and not in France. Also, when I was saying that the program is very career focused and tailored to make students prepared to be successful in their future career, we really emphasize for the students that university is way more than just classes and just obligatory exams to sit and everything. So our students have obligatory internships to complete in order to validate their academic year. So, for example, our students after year one, when they have their summer holidays after year one, they will spend 4 weeks as a professional experience doing an internship, which shall be related to the program and what they study, so they can get an idea what their future career could be, and also try to apply what they've learned during their first year on a daily basis as professionals. And this way, we think that the students understand that there is not that much of a gap between the world of practice and what we really explain during the classes at Dauphine. But also, I think, take into account that the program is very interdisciplinary. The students will be able to find the area which suits them the best, which they find the most exciting or the most interesting. So that is something which is quite unique as well, because most of the students, when they start their year one with us, they're 17, 18, maybe 19 for some of them. I see that not all of them are aware what they're willing to do for the rest of their life. And I'm not sure that these days it's very easy for them to decide, feeling pressure coming from all the sides, from society, from parents, from families, but also many of them actually tell me that one of the reasons they decided to apply to London is because it's a very interdisciplinary program. So they will get the skills and knowledge in many areas, and then they will decide later on what they're going to do. And actually, talking about later on, year one and year two are considered to be basic years when the students are covering all of those academic areas which I've named earlier. But for year three, of course, they need to make a decision. We cannot cover everything on the same level. We want them to become good in their area. So for year three, the students will have a choice. Either they would like to have their year three in applied economics and finance or management. So there are two options on London campus, and there are four options on Paris campus. So on Paris campus, on top of those two, the students can also follow law track, so specialization in law. But in order to do that, they will need to follow extra classes from year one. That's why we don't have that option in London. And social science. So those are the four options for Paris campus-based students and two options for our students. And those students who would like to proceed with their future career in banking, investment banking, finance, of course, applied economics and finance, it's incredible program for them because they get very well prepared for their future career.
And being in London is amazing for opportunities as well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for them. Just some of the students would actually not feel comfortable coming back to the university to get their master degree. They understand that maybe it makes way more sense just to start their career, start their first full-time job after getting their bachelor's degree in the UK, because in the UK it's very different culture from what we have in France or in the European Union generally. So you do not necessarily need to have a master degree in order to start your full-time employment, which is still the case in the UK, because master's degree is considered to be a little bit more of a research degree or an academic degree rather than degree which is tailored to your professional
Yeah.
development.
Perfect. Well, this is a very comprehensive perspective. Thank you for sharing all this. So I am looking at the time, and because I'm always trying to stick to an hour maximum, and I think I'm sure we're going to have some questions about the admission. So how do we how do we get in? How do we apply? I know we can apply through different ways. I know the program is on Parcoursup. Sometimes you have to apply through Parcoursup, but you can also apply outside of Parcoursup. So can you give us, first of all, a bit of a quick landscape of what are the different channels to apply and who applies from which channel?
There are actually two main ways to apply to study with us at Dauphine London. It's either Parcoursup or UCAS. And well, now it sounds like lots of choice for the students, but it's actually not, because if the students if the students are following French BAC, French high school diploma, they will be obliged to apply via Parcoursup. If the students are following NSNLs, so A level, International Baccalaureate, other high school diploma,
European back even?
European back as well, they can apply via UCAS. So
Okay.
those are the main requirements. So we have quite a lot of students who are studying in mainland France and who apply to us via UCAS, because in Parcoursup the deadline is a little bit more tough, and on
Yeah.
UCAS things are a little bit more flexible, and we are a little bit more flexible on UCAS as well. So some students try to contact us and try to apply to us via UCAS, but unfortunately, if they're doing French BAC, it is not possible for them to apply and to get admitted via UCAS. So they will need to follow Parcoursup admission requirements.
Yeah. So even if it's a French back in Brazil, it's Parcoursup.
Yeah, it is still French BAC. So you see, the main criteria for us to differentiate is what is a high school degree you're getting. So if it's just French BAC, you will need to proceed with Parcoursup. If it's anything else, it will be UCAS.
So I know it's not many students, but we have students that get double qualifications. They would get, let's say, the Alberta high school diploma because they had the Lycée Français in Calgary and the French bac, or they will get. I know in France there is the Academica dual diploma that can get you the US high school diploma on top of your French bac. So how do you deal with these dual qualifications? Is it that the French bac prevails, or the other degree gives them access to UCAS?
Well, that's actually a great question, and we have lots and lots of applicants coming from Lycée Français de l'Étranger. So that's a question which I face very often as the one who's in charge of admissions for London campus. Well, actually, we are always saying to all the students that if you apply via UCAS, for example, and we see that you have two predicted grades. You have predicted grades for your French BAC, and you have predicted grades for whatever your A level or another high school diploma. It's actually for the students to decide, because of course we will not be able to judge their French BAC grades via UCAS, and in normally they will be refused if we see that they're doing French BAC. So we're always saying that if you feel that your French BAC grades or French BAC predicted grades are better, we would recommend you to apply via Parcoursup. If you feel more confident as an applicant with another second high school degree you're pursuing in the same time, please apply via UCAS and use the grades of your another high school degree, and that's pretty much how we would deal with that.
Yeah. So you have to make sure to fully qualify on that other
Exactly.
diploma. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because actually, if we see both, yeah, we would just normally redirect them to Parcoursup, because that is like, for us it's obligatory requirement that we cannot accept students doing French BAC via outside of Parcoursup. So that is the only limitation which is important for us, and that's why I want to be crystal clear for all the prospective students and all the applicants who are listening to us now, so that they don't make that mistake.
Okay. And so, but in terms of students, when you mentioned the fee earlier, is it the same for everyone, whether you're French, you're British, you live in Japan, it's the same fee, right? So you don't have categories and allotted places based on tuition fees.
No, not at all. That is the same fee which is applicable to everyone, with one tiny exception. So, take into account that we are French university, those students who are cruise scholarship holders, they don't pay tuition fees at all. So, if you have a cruise scholarship, you will not pay tuition fees in France, but you will not pay tuition fees to Dauphine London either. So it means that for
Wow. So as a boursier, you would be,
zero pounds per year, which
wow.
sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. Wow. That's good to know. Okay, but otherwise it's the same pool. Okay, so on UCAS you're not gonna have the transcript. You're gonna have predicted grades. You're gonna have the maybe épreuve anticipée or any official grades that they had before. You have a personal statement, and then on Parcoursup you have like little questions on extracurricular. You have a little motivation letter, and then you have transcripts from grade 11 and first term of grade 12, première and beginning of terminal, or first two terms of grade 12. So is it the same process on both ends? Is it the same level of competitiveness? Yeah.
Talking about competitiveness, that's really interesting. We analyze the statistics for these admissions for September 2025, and we realize that actually London is becoming way more difficult to get in compared to Paris. For example, the acceptance rate in London these days is 3.2%.
What? 3.2%?
3.2%. I was very well surprised in a positive way and excited about it as well. And in Paris is 3.4%. So actually London is becoming more selective than the Paris campus these days. We
That's Ivy League level of selectivity here.
so just for example, to give you a little bit an idea of the numbers. So this year, in total, both Parcoursup plus UCAS, we received 3,600 applications for 110 places, 110 seats for year one students. And of course, most of those applications would come from Parcoursup, but there is quite a big part of them which come from UCAS as well. The process is the same for both platforms, for both applicants applying via UCAS or Parcoursup. The only difference is that, in UCAS, we have a chance to review the applications on a rolling basis. So it means that once the student applies to study with us at Dauphine London via UCAS, normally the student will hear back from Dauphine London within 2 or 3 weeks. While in Parcoursup, it's different. There is a specific date when we need to upload our admission decisions, and there is a specific day in early June when the students will get the offer, or they get an offer to be placed on the waiting list, and so on and so on. So that I get that is the main difference for the applicants. But when it comes to admissions in general, what we're looking at the level of mathematics. So the students shall be good at mathematics because, it's very mathematics heavy and economics heavy program. So we would like to, we would like to support them as much as we can, but we don't want them to struggle from the early days at Dauphine.
Do you have so basically, if we take the French system as an example, spécialité math is okay, math complémentaire not okay, math expert, is that something that's a bonus to your application? Like, how would you look at these three levels of math in terminal?
That's a great question. So normally, what we recommend to the students, we recommend them at least to keep mathematics for terminal,
Mhm.
at least to have some mathematics. But of course, math complémentaire is not enough to cover the syllabus of year one students. So that is the reason why we would normally recommend the students to have math specialty. And of course, math expert is just another green flag for us, saying that, like, okay, those students are really good in mathematics. Because I mean, like, in France, French system is quite specific and quite unique. That sometimes the grade in math expert for some students will be much lower than the grade in math specialty for other students.
Mhm.
But we know that the level of difficulty is not comparable either. So we take it into account while selecting. That's just I anticipate the next question, which could come from you regarding the grades, which we would require in those specific modules.
I just want just because we also have some IB students on the platform, and with the four math IB levels, would they be acceptable, or maybe is there one that kind of would be a bit of a disqualifying option?
There is, when it comes to IB, oh, yeah, that's a great question as well. When it comes to IB, normally all of them will be acceptable except for math studies.
Math AI standard level, which would be the lowest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That is the one which we think does not prepare the students to the level which we need them to have.
All right. I mean, I stopped you just before you started. You were about to talk about the grades, and so go ahead.
Thank you. We actually try to look through applications in detail. So, we don't use the rankings based on the average because we think that it's just not necessarily what we need to see, and it does not provide us with information we really need. So we try to have a look at all the applications, more or less all the applications. We really take into account how international students are, or how international they would like to be, because that's what we say. That's what makes Dauphine London unique. If you are international, or you would like to be international to have your career abroad or to get established abroad, that means Dauphine London is for you. Or maybe if you've been living abroad with your family, studying at LFU or in international schools, or doing some exchange abroad, those are tiny little green flags we're looking for while conducting the admissions. So that's actually the part of the answer to the question: is there any grade which is eliminatory grade that we will not go lower than, I don't know, 12 or 14 or 16? That would make my life much easier in terms of selection process. But we realize that sometimes when we see the applicant who's really motivated, and you can get it from the motivation letter or from the recommendation letter from the teachers, we see that, like, okay, maybe this student is just tiny little bit slower academically in terms of the grades in mathematics or SOS, for example, which is another green flag for us. But at the same time, we see that there is a strong motivation and strong desire to study at Dauphine London, and we will not say no to students like that. So that's why the answer is yes, we keep a very high level of requirements for the applicants. But in the meantime, we would like to look at the applicant's file as a whole, not, try to see the personality a little bit behind all that, not limiting all that.
I have a more maybe technical question for you on, because we have some families in France, especially, that are a bit frustrated with when they apply abroad, because they're like, we are in a very selective Parisian school that has a prépa, or that where the grades are tough because it's actually a very high level of school, and we know that in France, the ecosystem kind of knows and can put weight on the fact that you come from one of these very, very selective and tough schools. When abroad, sometimes they just take the grade as it is without comparison. So at Dauphine, do you also kind of look at, I don't know, the class average, where the student is coming from, to try to put some context in around those grades?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we do while looking at the profile as a whole. Because of course, in different French high schools, 13 in mathematics could mean many different things. It could mean that you are really, really weak, that you are very much average, or you are one of the best. Because teachers are different, standards are different. Oh, I mean, like my mathematics teachers were so strict that I think that 13 would have been the best outcome, really. So that's why we try to take all of that into account, just to make sure that no one is excluded only because they became the victim of their own success coming from very demanding high schools. And that's why I think that our approach makes sense, when we don't judge them purely on their grades, but trying to add some context into the admission.
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear. And for the English level, do you ask for a specific English score? And for example, on the IELTS, what would be the level that's expected from students?
So the minimum English level which we expect from our prospective students is B2. and everything which corresponds to B2 level in different tests. So in IELTS, it will be, if I'm not mistaken, as of 6.0, which corresponds
Okay.
to B2 level. But at the same time, at the moment, according to specific visa restrictions, there is a specific set of tests we can accept from the applicants in order to allow them to get their visa to study with us in the UK. Because once again, because of Brexit, all the students who are studying in the UK for more than 6 months, all European students, will need to get a student visa. So those tests are IELTS academic for UKVI.
Yeah, because some UK universities can kind of certify the level of English themselves, and don't necessarily need the students to take the UKVI. But because you are a French institution in London, then it's very important to remind that to the students that for Dauphine London you would need the UKVI, because immigration is going to need the UKVI to give you your visa. Yeah, okay.
And we're always very frustrated when students apply with IELTS academic, and we are forced, and we are just there is nothing we can do. Unfortunately, we are just forced to make them sit another UKVI.
Another UKVI. Yeah.
Although what is important, just one last thing on that point,
Mhm.
is we are currently changing our visa provider status. So maybe as of June, July 2026, we will be able to accept all English tests and not only UKVI approved tests. But once again, it is the project which is going on, and we have completed our part of assessment with the UKVI. So now we need to hear back from them. So that's why at the moment we're still using the previous setting that it should be UKVI.
That's still the advice. Okay. Perfect. Well, we're getting close to the end. No interview in the process. It's really
No.
no recommendation letter either. I guess yes, it is in the UCAS reference, and I guess on the Parcoursup, but nothing to specifically ask on top. Okay.
No, nothing too specific about that. We just find that it's already stressful enough to apply to study at the university, so we would not make kids suffer going through interview process and everything.
Well, thank you, because they suffer through it. All right, good. I mean, I think any questions you may have, please answer them now in the chat. For our guest, we've covered a lot of grounds. I think we've covered most topics. I'm looking. I think we haven't forgotten anything. If you have any specific questions, just feel free to ask them in the chat. But I think it's anything else that we haven't covered that you think would be important to share?
No, I just think that Dauphine, both Paris and London, is just an incredible place to spend your undergraduate years, and especially London being such a wonderful and vibrant city, especially for the students and international students. I just think that it's an incredible way to spend the best years of the life of the students. So we're always very happy to share those best years with them, and we are always very grateful for their trust since 2014 in spending their time with us.
All right. Well, great. I think yeah, no, it's just thank yous in the chat, and no specific questions. So we've covered most of it, and we are just on the hour. So thank you again, Boris, for all these very insightful information that's going to be available online. I'm sure lots of students are going to be able to learn more and to decide whether or not Dauphine London is for them. But it's a very, very exciting program.
If some of the students who would like to get to know us a little bit better are interested in coming and meeting us on Saturday, February the 7th, we have our open day at Dauphine London from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. You are all welcome to come to visit us. Once again, Saturday, the 7th of February, 2026.
All right. I'm even writing it down for myself in case I'm around.
That would be wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you, Boris.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And see you next week for another episode of the Anywhere Uni live podcast. Bye-bye.